Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something really specific, but super important for a lot of you. Getting through the German student visa application process for 2025.
Yeah, we've gathered quite a bit here. We're looking at official guides, some, expert takes, stats, and even notes from people who've successfully navigated this.
Right. And our job is to basically sift through all of that and pull out the key things, the really crucial insights you'll need.
Okay, let's get into the source material.
So, first things first, who actually needs this visa? The sources are clear. It's mainly students from outside the EU or the EEA.
Okay, non-EEA. But there's an exception, isn't there?
There is, yeah. And it's important if you're from places like the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Israel, New Zealand, you can actually fly into Germany visa-free. But, and this is key, you absolutely have to apply for your residence permit right after you arrive, like immediately.
Got it. So visa-free entry doesn't mean no paperwork later. And the guides mention different types of visas, too. Three main ones. You've got the standard student visa. That's if you already have your acceptance letter from the university. Simple enough.
Okay.
Then there's the student applicant visa. That's more for people who need to actually go to Germany first, maybe for an entrance exam or to finalize things in person.
Right, before getting the final acceptance.
Exactly. And the third is the language course visa. Pretty self-explanatory for intensive German courses, often as a step before university starts.
Makes sense. So once you know which path you're on, what's step one, according to the sources? Seems fundamental.
It is. You need that official admission letter from a German university, the Zulassungsbescheid. Without it, you basically can't start the main visa process.
Okay, acceptance secured. Then comes the document marathon, right? This seemed like a big focus in the materials.
Oh, definitely. This is where things get really serious. You need the basics. Valid passport, those biometric photos, the application form itself, your academic transcripts.
Standard stuff.
Yeah, but the absolute heavyweight, the one experts really hammer home, is proof of financial resources. You have to show you can support yourself.
And there's a specific number floating around in the sources for that.
Yes. Generally for 2025, it's cited as EUR 11,208 for your first year. And the way you prove this, the most common requirement, is the blocked account, the Sparkonto.
Ah, yes, the famous Sparkonto. Not just any savings account, then.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
The sources stress this because, well, Germany wants proof you won't need public assistance. This account is specifically designed so you deposit the full amount, but can only withdraw a fixed sum each month.
Okay, kind of like a controlled allowance. And any providers mentioned?
Yeah, the guides listed common ones like Fintiba, Expatrio, Coracle, and sometimes Deutsche Bank, though that can be more complex to set up from abroad.
Good to know. And besides money, health insurance proof.
Yep, proof of health insurance recognized in Germany is vital, and also the motivation letter.
Right, the motivation letter. The sources suggested this is pretty significant, not just a quick paragraph.
Far from it. Experts point out it's your chance to really connect the dots. Why Germany? Why this specific program? How does it build on your past studies? And crucially, you need to clearly state your intention to return home after finishing your studies. That return intent is something visa officers look at closely.
Okay, so documents. Finances locked down, motivation letter crafted. What's next?
Booking that visa appointment at the German embassy or consulate in your home country, and the sources all scream. Do this early, like really early. Appointment slots can fill up months in advance.
Non-negotiable then. An interview itself. Any tips from the guides?
Be ready to talk clearly about your study plans, how you're funding it, why you picked Germany, why that course. They recommend preparing, maybe even doing a mock interview.
Sounds like solid advice. After the interview, it's the waiting game. How long usually?
The typical time frame mentioned is somewhere between 6 and 12 weeks. It can vary, though.
And while you wait, maybe it's good to know why applications sometimes don't succeed. The sources listed common reasons for rejection.
They did, and they tie right back to the steps we just talked about.
Let me guess. Money problems are high up.
Number 1, insufficient financial proof. The blocked account isn't set up right, or the full amount isn't there and verifiable. That's a major red flag.
And simple mistakes on documents?
Absolutely. Incomplete forms, missing signatures, incorrect information. Even small things can cause big delays or rejection. Another big one is a weak motivation letter or interview performance, failing to convince them about your study goals, or, again, that intent to return home.
So if your chosen course seems like a random jump from what you studied before?
That can raise questions, yeah. You need to justify that connection in your application.
So based on all this, what were the top tips from the experts?
Apply early, at least 3 months before you plan to travel. Double check? No, triple check every single document for accuracy and completeness, and keep copies of absolutely everything you submit.
Okay. And let's say you get the visa, congratulations, but it's not quite over when you land in Germany, is it?
Not quite. The sources highlight two immediate crucial steps upon arrival. First, within 14 days, you must register your address. Go to the local registration office, the Einwohnermeldeamt.
Get on the official radar.
Exactly. Then, you need to apply for your actual residence permit at the local foreigners office, the Ausländerbehörde. That permit is what allowed you to stay for your studies long term.
So looking at the big picture from all of these sources, success really seems to boil down to being incredibly organized, especially with the money side, and presenting a really clear, solid case for yourself.
Totally. That statistic, the 92% approval rate for students with strong academic backgrounds, kind of backs that up. If you meet the requirements meticulously, your chances are genuinely very good.
So wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway? Getting that German student visa for 2025 takes precision. You've got to be really careful with the details, especially showing financial stability and getting all the paperwork perfect.
Yeah, success really hinges on knowing each step inside out and dodging those common mistakes like incomplete forms or not having the blocked accounts sorted correctly.
Which leaves us with a final thought. We know the documents and the money are hard requirements, they're check boxes, but how much does the final decision also ride on something less tangible? Like how well can you actually communicate your passion, your academic vision, your future plans in that letter and interview, making your application feel not just complete, but genuinely compelling?
That's definitely something to think about as you put your own application together. How to tell your story effectively.